Welcome your 2026 Strategic Planning Committee Chair, Dan Hartman.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here. This program is brought to you by the Strategic Planning Committee and sponsored by the Missouri Realtors Education Foundation. A special thank you to the foundation. Today we're pleased to highlight Doug Pitt, an accomplished entrepreneur whose business leadership and innovative mindset have shaped multiple industries in Missouri and beyond. Doug is the founder of Pitt Technology Group and Pitt Development Group, a firm specializing in medical office development. His work spans technology, commercial real estate development, and investment. Alongside his business ventures, Doug has built a national reputation for philanthropic work. He founded Care to Learn, which has addressed more than 3 million emergent needs for students across 45 Missouri school districts. Since 2010, he has also served as the Goodwill Ambassador for the United Republic of Tanzania, reflecting his longstanding commitment to global service. His humanitarian work continues through World Serve International, supporting clean water projects across East Africa. Doug Pitt's career illustrates how entrepreneur drive, strategic vision, and commitment to service can create lasting impact both locally and globally. Please join me in welcoming Doug Pitt and your 2026 President, Brian Jared, to the stage.
So formal.
Again, thank you everybody for being here, and we'll start off here some questions. So, Doug, you've built companies, launched community initiatives, and supported countless projects over the years. When you look back across your experiences, what's the moment or influence that most shaped you in the work that you do today?
Wow, got to go back 30 years, I guess. I'll give mom and dad some credit right out of the gate. I think they helped shape a lot of what I do, and just it was a cool opportunity through my business career, to be introduced to philanthropy early on. I think that was a blessing, and but really a kind of a life-changing event. I'm 59 now, so when I was 40, I sold the computer company. We later bought it back, but I was done. I was tired and just needed a shift, and it was that moment. Well, within 2 years, I did my first Africa trip, got involved with World Serve, and Care to Learn was born. So none of that would have happened without that reset, so that was probably the biggest momentous change.
So you've spoken about applying business principles, efficiency, accountability, clear operational models, and philanthropic work. What's an example of the moment when you bring business mindset to a charitable initiative change the outcome for the better?
That's our secret sauce. A lot of times when people talk about philanthropy, we think rainbows and puppies and all this good stuff, and things just work out because we're trying to save the world and do better. The reality is, in any nonprofit, you have rent, you have salaries, you have the exact same expenses in the corporate world. So guess what? It's a business. And by the way, I'm not a nonprofit guy, I'm a business guy that just happens to work in that realm. So guess what? Doug, the business guy, shows up, and that's the only way I know how to do it. But I think it's a blessing because we treat it as a business. And in Care to Learn, the staff puts together our business. They know how to read a balance sheet. They put it together. They report on it. We're very militant in our procedures, just like we are in our own companies. We protect our brand just like we do. And so I don't apologize for it. If anything, we're very militant about it, but no secret. And World Serve, it's all business people. And we're really just, we want efficiency. You want efficiency in everything that you do. And I think it's a mistake to treat a nonprofit any other way.
I jump a little off script though too, but just so we clarify, because I know what it is, I know those who are around the area, but Would you go a little bit more in depth and care to learn just kind of what that does?
Yeah, sure. It's one of my favorite topics. Super simple. A kid shows up to school with any health, hunger, hygiene need, and we fund it. It can be a $3 meal. It can be a $3,000 hearing aid, clothing, inclement weather clothing. The kid having to stand at a bus stop in this weather. It can be medical. It can be prescriptions. Obviously, food before school, after school, weekends. You never want to be the dirty kid. We do a lot of hygiene, bed bugs at home, which is super expensive to treat. And then just really it's about dignity. Is it keeping the kid out of the classroom or disrupting the classroom experience? Then fund it. There's no discussion, there's no bureaucracy, there's no red tape. Fund it.
Well, it's just absolutely amazing organization. I mean, those who know around it has changed, I think, countless lives. And to your point, kids just want to fit in, and that gives them the opportunity,
Absolutely,
just to feel normal like everybody else. And it's, again, thank you for that alone.
Unfortunately, business is good, but it's hitting on all cylinders.
So many nonprofit leaders struggle with scale. And from your perspective, what is the most important systems or disciplines that allow a mission-driven organization to grow sustainably?
On the mission side, to scale, people, for sure. My biggest mistakes in my business career, in both the philanthropic side and the corporate side, is people. Wrong people, wrong chairs, elevating people that weren't ready. You're picking from the best of the lot instead of waiting till you found the right hire. You cannot scale unless you have all the seats filled the way that they need to be properly. I'm not the smug guy saying I know that. The only reason I know that is I made 100% of those mistakes. And so that's by far some of my biggest professional regrets are in terms of just decisions I made around hires.
So what do you think, business leaders misunderstand about philanthropy? What do the philanthropist office misunderstand about business?
100% of what I just was talking about, treating it like a business. We treat them, we have this pauper mentality, and a lot of even nonprofits take pride in it. It's almost like being a martyr, is that, the hand-me-down computers, we get to work out of a basement because it was donated space, no windows. Well, you don't want to work there. I don't want to work there, and why would we ask people just because they're serving a more noble need maybe than me in what I do in real estate to work? My expectations are super high, but yet I'm going to give you a hand-me-down 4-year-old computer, and I'm going to give you all these disadvantages, handcuff you, and then say deliver. It's backwards. That mentality is wrong. We pay market. I'm going to hire the best person that I can find for the job. We're going to empower them, let them do what they do. And again, it's kind of a broken record so far, is that it's the exact same acumen and expectations on the corporate side.
Well, and that goes into the next question, which is you've highlighted resilience as a key part of leadership. And was there a specific challenge, in your career or philanthropic work that reshaped how you think about resilience?
Oh gosh, we need to give ourselves more grace. We need to be kinder to ourselves. And I think, we're our hardest critics sometimes. So about being resilient is meaning, show me any successful person, I'll show you scars. It's just part of the roadmap to get there, right? And some of those bumps we hang on to longer than we should. So give yourself some grace. Give yourself a pass. You need to tell somebody sorry, do it, but move on. But sometimes you just need to tell yourself sorry and move on. We say stupid stuff. We do stupid stuff. We make dumb decisions. You're going to do it again, by the way. And so give yourself some grace and just understand I messed up, but move on. And, some of these things, no one else is holding these grudges on myself but me, and kicking myself over the dumb things that I did and some of those things. So give yourself some grace.
No, I think that's great words of advice, because I know, I'll speak for myself. I'm in this industry though too. Something happens, something goes wrong, and you take the blame on there too. You let it eat at you, and you bother you. And at the end of the day, it doesn't change. And I try to myself live under the philosophy of the fact of, all right, it happened. Like you said, move on. And
Easier said than done.
And it is easier said than done. Absolutely.
Again, this is a 59-year-old guy speaking. The 39-year-old was terrible at this. It just was. And So luckily, you get a little smarter as you get older, I guess.
Well, it is, and it's easy, and I've got the philosophy too, the fact of, all right, what's the solution? Because I can tell myself everything I did wrong, but find a solution and do that, because it makes life goes easier. So if you could teach emerging leaders, one habit or discipline that served you well across both business and community work, what would it be?
Habits, and mine are all backwards. I'm the night owl. You know, every social media tells you to be successful, you got to get up at 5 a.m., you got to work out, you got to meditate. If that's the case, I'd be extremely poor, because I get up at 7. I work out late. I like to stay up late. I mean, I do it completely backwards. And my whole point to that is, guys, you do you. You are responsible for you. We can make all the excuses we want in the world, but at the end of the day, it's you or you. It's about you, and I'm not going to let anybody affect my path. Yes, they may throw roadblocks in it. Yes, they may cause me to stumble and backtrack, but at the end of the day, it's on me. I got to wake up. I got to do the deal, and so do it on your terms. Figure out what works for you and own it, and just turn out the noise and execute.
So what practices keep you grounded, professionally, spiritually, personally, especially when the workload gets hard?
That's a moving target, but it's a good one. It's only moving because we're humans, right? I am a faith-based guy, and that's been a big part of who I am, so I'll rest in that. But my advice is I'm a little bit of a loner at times, and I'm trying to even insert more community in my life, because we need that. I'd love to be on a mountain bike trail by myself. My wife hates the idea that I travel. She's offended I like to travel by myself, but doing my international trips, I just enjoy some time to just separate and get away. And, got a great support system around me, and friends and family, and obviously that helps.
I think that's good though too. I mean, I think that, especially relationship, I think it's sometimes healthy to sit there and know that you can have that balance, that wait time, but it's for better growth, in my opinion.
I'm a big longevity guy too. I really believe in the science. I study it a lot. We're going to live longer, but not only just longer, we have the ability, I think, the opportunity to live better. And we're going to have a better quality of life as we live older, but if we pay attention and we put in the work now. And so working out's a big part of who I am, and just I've made some conscious decisions on some things for me that aren't negotiable. And the way I do it's not the way you should do it or you should do it. You figure out you, but I've got a plan, and it's a big part of my week.
So with that though too, like everything, what would be a failure or setback that has led to, a better business or community work in that sense?
I made a few, so I got to think through them. Now, I'm just going to go back to the hires. There were just times when I promoted someone in a spot that I wanted it to happen, and it was an easy button to make happen, and it just colossally backfired. And then I brought some people on some deals, gave some ownership, thinking that would empower, not understanding that's not really how they were motivated. It blew up on me, and I've lost some relationships with some key people that I really was stretching out trying to better. Well, I had to learn early on, their idea where they want to be is not yours. You got to stop and ask and really have these discussions. I was talking with a friend of mine who is doing just this right now. He's getting at a part where he wants to retire, and he's going to give ownership in certain projects to all different staff. I told him it was a terrible idea. You're going to scare the crap out of these people. I mean, they don't want the liability, the risk of being sued. They don't, and you're gone, and the money and capital calls. You are going to terrify them without a lot of explanation. So you need to sit down with them and really find out, how are they motivated? You can do ghost ownership and some things where they still can have the rewards without some of the liabilities and risks. And so I've had to slow down, understand not everybody's wired like me, ask the questions. And so today, again, in my hires, I'm way more diligent. I ask a lot more questions. I take a lot more time. I get more counsel with them. It's precious. And if I can't find the right person, no hire. We'll figure it out. Just keep grinding until we get that person.
And that's I think that's a great philosophy, because I mean we sometimes have expectations of people that is really falls on us because we didn't ask the right questions. We didn't know, we assume, and of course we all know what that does, but it's just one of those things that we sometimes just really do assume that this is going to happen, this person would be great, and realize that if we had asked the right questions, we would have had our answer early on.
Done it.
So going back to Care to Learn, your work with initiatives like Care to Learn has directly impacted students' immediate needs. So when you think about the communities today, what unmet needs do you believe we should be paying more attention to?
It goes to geography. Even within Christian County, we can have some that are a little bit more in a food desert area, and the ability to get food and food on the weekends is more problematic than someone even who you would assume is a bedroom community. Transportation then becomes an issue, and so I would say that's kind of defined by where our location is. One of the things that's been added to this is really just around our mental health of kids. That wasn't on the radar when Care to Learn was started. That's sounds redundant to say that's healthy, but it's healthy. I like the fact that that dialogue is happening. We can get a little bit overboard. I'm triggered by the word trigger. But at the same time, we need some self-reliance. But it's proper. My generation, if you went to therapy or talked to somebody, it was because you were off the rails. Well, come on, guys. We all need help. Everybody needs help. We need to look out for each other. So I like the fact that we're stopping and we're giving people a chance to express themselves and to talk and really look past the rub some dirt on it, Johnny, and get back to class.
I think that's very valuable because again and that's a lot of the things too, and I think that goes with the organization as well. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's happening in their lives, and to make assumptions and assume everybody's got this perfect life to a degree is, faults that some traps that we've gotten ourselves into, not realizing there's way more than we understand. So
No question.
So what have you learned about the importance of speed and responsiveness in meeting community needs, especially when you're working with kids and families in crisis?
When we started Care to Learn, I think probably 3 of my first bullet points is this kid will not wait. We're not going to, we find out this morning, let's say a kid, if they were going to school today, we're at the bus stop, no coat, driver turns him in, says this Johnny needs a coat, and then we spend a week trying to figure out bureaucracy and how to get it and get it to whom. No, we're going to remove those barriers right out of the gate, and if we have a need, it's going to be emergent. We're going to take care of it that day. So that's been a fundamental, really one of our main tenets that we've stood on at Care to Learn for today. I had a huge luxury growing up in the tech business because I'm selling things that weren't even around 2 years ago, and that's the business I grew up in. We're trying to figure out as technology got dropped, what's going to work, what doesn't work, and it was for 15 years, I'm on this bleeding edge thing of trying to figure that out. So I make changes all the time. It's just that where I was comfortable with it. Well, then I move into real estate and drive some partners crazy because you and I have a talk, a great dinner, business plan, but I wake up the next morning with an idea. Well, that idea is I have new data. And why would I sit on, if I have an improvement in my brain, let's go. And so to me, change is good. Change is healthy. I embrace it. Nothing is sacred in any kind of business still. Nothing is sacred. And I just like that mentality. So we definitely have brought that to the humanitarian side of the fence. And let's be strategic. Let's be thoughtful, but let's execute.
No, and I think that's a valuable point because again, I know your previous business in the tech world, and it's amazing how things can change overnight, and not to be able to be adapt and accept and realize that though too. I know in our industry sometimes we get stuck in that. We like how it was. It's a comfortable zone. Everybody does like how things were and what made us feel good and comfortable, and then the word of, something's new out there, this could be this. We hear AI and some people get excited, others freak out, but yet we realize that, you just embracing it and at least using it doesn't mean you have to jump full in on things, but at least being willing to adapt to the degree that, what you said before, what works for you. Just because somebody wants to use it more than you want to doesn't mean it's bad, it's just what fits, you, So how can educators, realtors, and business leaders collaborate more effectively to address the non-academic barriers students face every day?
If you want to get involved in a charity, the last thing we need you to do is start another one. We have way too many. Find somebody that's in your lane of interest. If it's cleaning up rivers, fine. Find out who's doing it really well, dive in. And in the event, maybe they're not doing it the way they should, maybe there's room for improvement, then go start your own. And I've said this from day one. The day somebody's doing their Care Learn mission better than we are, we'll shut the doors and we'll support them 100%. Right now we think we've got the best mousetrap, but that really does need to be the mentality. So get involved and make it your own. And we have today probably 6 champions, I'll call them, that literally they are their own Care to Learn chapter. And one of them is an attorney who is just, from a consulting standpoint to our staff, has just taken that on as her mission and has come in and done training with the staff that I don't even have that skill set. It's just not how I roll and what I do, and it's been super valuable, something that I probably even would have said, I was wrong. And so I love seeing people come in and make Care to Learn theirs and figure out their lane of how they can help move the mission forward. And it can be on the service side, it can be on the staff side, our warehouse side, whatever we're doing. That's your role. Be a champion.
That's great advice. So let's switch here a little bit. In your experience, what does effective collaboration look like when people from different viewpoints are trying to solve the same problem? And tied in a little bit of what you said, but just in general, I don't know.
Normally it's a train wreck. But I would say, again, it's a 59-year-old version speaking, I'm a lot quieter. I'm going to listen twice as much as I speak. Just good advice. And to really get in the room, I've done it 3 times in my career where I've gotten up and walked out. And not to be rude, it's just, when people just want to hear themselves talk and do it, and I can see where the room's going, I'm just done. It's just not who I am. And we all want efficiency. I'm a business guy. You're in business, and we're just not there to waste time. So if we're there to fix a need, to solve something, be slow to speak, quick to hear.
And that's always solid advice. So how can business civic leaders better cut through the clutter and get to the solutions that actually move the needle?
We've covered a lot of it. I'm really just making sure that our house is in order. And I remember this was on my board at the time. If you're from Springfield, Jack Stack, Jim Anderson, Stephanie Montgomery, Matt Miller, just had some really good business. Jerry Maharmison, John Wanamaker, just some really good people, business people on our board. And I came in with this bright idea that we were going to double our number of chapters next year. Let's just go. It's moving too slow. We need more chapters. And I was told no. I don't hear no a lot, or at least I don't listen to that no. And you know what? Their reasoning was, and Jack Stack of all people, he's got 24 companies or whatever. He's Mr. Grow. The best advice, and why we didn't have all the chairs filled that I was talking about. We didn't have a foundation in place to support that many chapters. So once we got them all out there, they were going to be out on this little island by themselves and die on the vine, because we just didn't have the infrastructure to support the number that I wanted. It was a little humbling. No one likes to be told no, especially when you think you've got this grand plan and idea. But luckily, I could check my ego at the door and realize, all right, this many smart people in the room are telling me something. I need to listen to it. But God, were they right, man. So today, literally, we're signing up our 61st chapter. And at that time, we were at 15. And to think that we could have handled 30 back then, we couldn't have. So make sure your house is in order and get good counsel. Listen to that counsel.
Well, and that goes with what you said before, to listen twice as much as you talk. And it's hard when especially when it's your baby and what you're passionate about and what you want to do. And I think that's hard sometimes for CEOs and everybody else to realize that the advice given is not because they want to shut you down or or tie your hands, but it's because they have the same passion you do, but they're looking at it through different lens that you might not be seeing.
By the way, if you're sitting on a board, that's your role. You have a fiduciary responsibility to be that person, not a yes person. And so sometimes the hard answer is no, and the right answer is no. And huge respect for them for doing it.
Yeah. And it's tough
If I had
sometimes.
a board full of yes people at that time, I would have crashed.
Well, and that's also aligning yourself and knowing everybody you may mention of the two, it is surrounding yourself with better people.
No question.
So you've built and rebuilt tech companies. What trends do you see right now that most people underestimate?
I heard Sean mention some AI stuff, and obviously that's the sure. So it reminds me back when we were when the internet came out. You know, as soon as everybody started hearing about this internet thing, what is it? And we go through these little phases of I don't understand it, I dismiss it, then all of a sudden, okay, I'll try a little bit of it, then I'm scared of it, and then I love it. You know, so we're doing that right now with AI. Everybody's kind of into their little phases and figuring it out. I'm super intrigued. I think it's amazing. We're starting a new software company right now based around AI at PIC Technology Group, something that wasn't on the radar even 4 or 5 months ago. Just kind of a use that I came up with that I needed it, and we started just developing something to use it. So I love that. Is it going to displace some jobs? Absolutely. Is it going to replace some jobs? Absolutely. But is it going to create a lot of new jobs? Absolutely. And so I don't walk around with a lot of fear and trepidation. I think it's going to be amazing. I'm super excited about it. It will be more disruptive, I think, than when we got the internet. I do. What does that mean? I don't know. But I'm a fan.
And that's, I mean, that's a, good point. I mean, it's one of those things, and said before, just it's a technology I think to embrace and figure what is the best use of it and needs to be done. Go a little bit more though too. Do you see besides AI, because we hear that a lot though too, do you see anything else that we're missing or looking, the way the future is though too? I mean, everybody's got their eye focused, right on that one topic. But it seems like everything changes the minute you turn your head.
The room, no question. But it's also what it's doing in all these other disciplines, be it in the cloud-based businesses or even network-based businesses, data storage. I mean, it's making every other industry around it stop and really come up with their AI strategy, good, bad, or ugly. And so it's driving. It is the catalyst right now.
So how do you balance legacy expertise with the need to consistently evolve in a rapidly changing industries like real estate and tech?
Oh, you learn from your mistakes. I guess probably the easiest thing. Boy, I wish I would have had this brain in my 20s and 30s, but I did do something right. I wasn't embarrassed to ask questions. I am the guy before GPS. I would pull over and ask directions, and so I wasn't that guy that would just drive lost forever because again, it was efficiency. It would drive me crazy, literally, to be lost, and so I would ask any business person that would listen questions. I asked John Q questions. I think I was 28, 29 years old, and went to his office and asked John Q questions. Why? Because that guy's got a lot of answers. He was super gracious to talk to me, but I did. I just asked, and I wanted to know. My brain was thinking, if I can learn from any other mistakes, it puts me that much further ahead. And I really didn't ask about my business and things. I really just wanted to hear from them. And so I'm fortunate that I was wired that way, and I still do it today. I will still pick up the phone and call Jack Stack and ask questions. I'll talk to some of my good business friends. We do not have all the answers, and I don't pretend to.
No, and that's the thing I see, especially in our industry, though too. The whole. Sometimes you hear the term "fake it till you make it," and it's such horrible advice because there's nothing wrong saying I don't know, but let me find the answer, and trying to experience and trying to get more, to realize you can always better yourself. That even what you think you know, you don't know. And I mean, I do the same thing. I know to this day, I still ask my father questions, even questions I know the answer to, but I sit there and it's just as a sounding board and make sure that, hey, am I thinking right? So
Good counsel.
So jump a little bit here. A few questions here, like why the tech business? What drove you to sit there and say, okay, this is what I want to get into at a time, this is my passion?
That was 1991. I mean, this is pre-internet. This was DOS. This was the Wild West back then. And true story, I couldn't turn on a computer. Didn't know where the on button was. I just knew it was the future. I was looking for a business to start. Had a friend who he was a salesman for another computer company. We were just talking about service and hung out a shingle and a lot of late hours. But it worked. But literally, that's how I got in the tech business.
So same question for Care to Learn. Why that charity, why that passion? Of all the things that could be out there, what was the drive for that?
I've said this a lot. Some things just choose you, and you know what those are. I had heard about poverty in Springfield at a chamber meeting. I was kind of embarrassed. They're talking about siblings sharing a toothbrush, and this 5th grade boy being made fun of for wearing his mom's jeans, and it's just these little stories that they were pretty insignificant, but yet demoralizing for a child. And the idea that we had some dirt floors in Springfield, Missouri, really? And just story after story, and it was just one of those things. I remember I was at the intersection of Fort and Sunshine, right by where my office used to be, and I just remember sitting at the stoplight. I didn't know what Care to Learn would be. I just knew I was doing something, and I knew I can raise money. If I could just find that kid who's probably 2 miles away from me right now, I could change his stars. $40 pair of jeans, whatever it is, and started raising money.
Very nice. So what advice would you give to entrepreneurs who want to build businesses that not only succeed financially, but also immediately support the communities?
Build the business first. I hear a lot of people when they're starting companies, we're going to donate 10% of our proceeds to XYZ charity. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. I love your heart. I love where everything's at. I love the ethos of what you're stepping out to do, but that is completely wrong. You cannot help Johnny out if you're out of business. I would tell somebody, lock down this business, work on it. If you work for 3 years and never give away a dime, but it puts you in a position then to sustain and do it long term, that was the right call. Give yourself some grace, remember that part, and understand it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. And but the idea of just doling out things right out of the gate and feeling like you have this altruistic mission that if that doesn't happen right away, you're a failure. No, shutting your doors is the failure. And so lock down, be a business person first, be a philanthropist second. And it's seasonal. Guys, there's times, if I'm building a clinic right now and I'm throwing out a bunch of cash, it's a terrible time to call me to ask for money. When I sell a property, it's a pretty good time to call me about selling it. So it's, as you know, we don't always know those time frames, so it's seasonal. And but that's my advice. Be a business person first.
So you were how old when you started Service World?
I was 23 or 4, yeah.
So what would you tell your 23, 4-year-old self that you now know today?
Besides, give yourself some grace.
Besides grace?
I made a ton of mistakes. I just did. And, but it's worked out. Probably the earlier version of me, we get so locked in that we have to find this career and what it's going to be, and what a load of crap. I mean, I'm 59, still figuring out what I'm going to do next. So it's okay. It's okay to feel like you're wandering a little bit. Hard work pays off. I don't care what it is. And sometimes it feels like we're spinning, moving backwards, but you're not. You're not. Just get focused and execute. Figure out what works best for you.
So now you're building medical clinics around. What's the future of Doug Pitt in the sense of, is there another something else? I mean, you've had a few different things.
No, absolutely. I want to be 112 doing deals. I really do. I love life right now. I get to travel and do some things that I want to do anyway, but my business brain's 24/7, and it's just a big part of me, but it's something I enjoy. It's not a labor. It's something it's intrinsic in me. I love putting deals together. I think it'll keep me young. And So I'm halfway. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out. But I expect a lot more.
Very nice. Well, I'm kind of almost pretty much all questions here. I'm just trying to think not to ask, is there anything,
No, I
you
just
wanna add
appreciate this
additional, or-
opportunity to listen, and I am putting my house on the market soon. So somebody in this
Oh,
room,
Lord.
let's come on. Let's get
Okay,
let's get it done.
This is about as bad as somebody putting on Facebook, does anybody know a realtor? I mean, this is...
All right. In fairness, I've got a realtor, but it doesn't still mean that you can't be the one to sell it. So there you go.
Good Lord. That was a bad way to...
Just,
No. But again, thank you for being
No,
here.
happy to.
Thank you
Happy
for
to.
your time. I appreciate it.
all
Thank
right.
you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.